This is one of those Am I the A-hole posts that's a throwback, but people periodically reference it, and not all of us have been on Reddit for very long. So let's just go into it so we can all have a baseline on what they're talking about when they say it's not about the yogurt or whatever they're talking about. Like I said, this is 5 years old, so it's a throwback. She says, Am I the a-hole for throwing away my boyfriend's potentially illegal yogurt collection? Not sure how yogurt can be illegal, but let's look at the story. So she says, I'm a 29-year-old woman and my boyfriend is 30. We've been living together for 2 years in a little studio in a very expensive big US city. My boyfriend grew up rurally with lots of space, enough to collect all kinds of things. He collected action figures and video games and all the normal kid stuff when he was young, but as he grew older, he became interested in more unusual things. As a teen, he had 8 guinea pigs of different types of breeders. Since Tide Pods were released 7 years ago, he saved one of every kind of Tide Pod. He's got a big box of an international variety of electric insulators, those little ceramic hats that power lines wrap around on power poles. He's not a hoarder. He's usually neat, just used to having lots of space for his bizarro collections. At his parents' ranch, he has 2 big rooms full of containers of weird and impressive things. He's recently become interested in yogurt. He's always hated dairy products until a year ago. He's not just started drinking milk and sharing ice cream with me, but he's found a love for yogurts. So now he collects them, of course. The problem is that they're perishable. So until earlier today, our little 550 square foot studio contained about 2,100 cups of yogurt. It comes in tons of varieties, different types, flavors, textures, containers made by different companies in different countries. This is like crack to my boyfriend. So he tried to pretty much save a sample of everything he could find. He filled our fridge, bought a new fridge, and then another tiny bedside fridge. He said he didn't want to walk to the fridge at night, but it was obviously a ruse to get more yogurt space. These fridges all filled up with his yogurts, and if you keep them for long, they smell bad. Sometimes the packaging breaks. So our apartment was smelling like rotten milk for the last 2 weeks. My boyfriend's attitude was, "Oh, it's fine, and just deal with it for a little longer," until I pulled the plug and threw it all out this morning. I was looking at my groceries, which I had to put beside the fridge because there was no space, and everything smelled like death. And then I kind of snapped and threw it all away. My boyfriend is understandably upset. We've been arguing about whether I crossed the line by throwing away his stuff. And he's especially upset because he, of course, had rare yogurts that were hard to find. In particular, he had some Cuban and Iranian yogurts that you can't get in the US. But I know we have trade sanctions against Iran and Cuba. So I don't know if it was even legal for him to have them. I asked where he got his Iranian yogurt, but he kept insisting the Iranian yogurt is not the issue here, and that the real issue was me throwing out his precious yogurts without his permission. Am I the a-hole here? Do I need legal advice? Thanks in advance. I'm so exasperated. I'm not going to dive deep in this. I just wanted to give a baseline for what people were talking about as far as yogurt. If you live in a studio and you have somebody that wants to collect things, especially yogurt, and you have a house full of smelly food, I can see why you snapped. If you leave food out for a day and it starts to smell, that would really irk the hell out of me. So 2 weeks and your house is smelling like spoiled milk? Absolutely not. I don't think she's the a-hole, but I completely understand why she did what she did. I can understand why he would be upset. She's throwing away his things, but when you live with somebody, you can't be collecting things that smell bad. This person, Petunimatic Flower Pot or something like that, says, the Iranian yogurt is not the issue here. I hope at some point in my life, I find a way to seamlessly drop that into a conversation. And this person wanted to hone in on, He also said he didn't want to walk to the fridge at night, but it was obviously a ruse to get more yogurt space. And then he says, OP, you're definitely not the a-hole, but also I hope the saga continues so we can have more of these amazing lines. Rudolph the Duck says, having a mini fridge in my bedroom has been the best decision in my entire life, and I highly recommend it. Just saying. This person said, the Chinaman is not the issue here, dude. Asian American, please. Okay, so now we're just being kind of silly now. Okay, so we all have a baseline about yogurt. And when someone's talking about Iranian yogurt and people needing a ruse to store more yogurt so they get a mini fridge. So now we got it. And here's another throwback Reddit post. This was from a couple of years ago when I was looking up, yogurt. This one popped up as well. And it says, I got a fridge lockbox and it's destroying my relationship. I may have seen this one, I'm not sure. But if we're going to do throwbacks, let's just toss another one in there. She says, some background. Boyfriend is 24, she's 25. She says, boyfriend and I have been together 5 years, lived together 3. Our relationship was great, truly. We have a joint account. We contribute to monthly, to handle joint expenses, rent, groceries, etc. Everything else is split. Boyfriend is 6'3", 200 pounds, and works out daily. He eats a lot to keep up his caloric intake, which is fine except for one issue. We buy snacks and he always eats my half before I can even get to it. Normal food and ingredients he's fine with, but if it's quickly accessible, I'll never get any. We argue, he apologizes, rinse and repeat. This is literally the only bad thing he's done. Seriously, in all other aspects of our relationship, he's respectful and considerate. Snacks are where all bets are off. Anyways, last week I lost it after he finished an expensive cheese we had gotten that I was really looking forward to eating. It was all gone after an hour. I didn't speak to him for a day and ended up ordering a fridge lockbox. After our next snack run a couple of days later, I divided each snack in half and locked mine in the lockbox. From his reaction, you would think I was taking out puppies. He said it was disrespectful and controlling, and how dare I keep food that he paid for from him. When I reminded him my money went into it too, he screamed that he didn't give an F and then he left. He slammed the door so hard a picture fell off the wall and broke. He didn't come back until the next day, but that was to change for work and leave immediately. He came home late and went straight to the guest room. 4 days of this, I broke last night and asked him to please talk about it, and he said that he had nothing to say to me until I got rid of the lockbox. Honestly, I'm completely appalled at this reaction, and I'm genuinely worried he might be on drugs or having a mental break or something. This is the most irrationally I've ever seen a grown man react. He's ignored me only to randomly ask if I've gotten rid of the lockbox. And I'm not getting rid of the lockbox. We're supposed to renew our lease next week. I'm considering cutting my losses and just leaving. Is this relationship even worth salvaging? Is there anything I can do to solve this? He is refusing to communicate unless I get rid of the lockbox, which is not happening. Okay, then she posted an update. We gotta love updates this quickly, considering this is old. She says, hey guys, I don't know if anyone wanted an update, but here it is. A lot happened. Boyfriend kept staying out late and refusing to talk. So I talked to my boyfriend about the lockbox again, and I mentioned that I didn't think the lockbox was the real issue, but he was a brick wall, insisted that it was abusive and controlling to deny him food. I kept pushing, asking if he was on drugs or cheating. I said him flipping out over something so small and staying out all hours was suspicious as hell. I said I thought he was using the lockbox as an excuse to be out of the house doing something bad. Me saying that unleashed an hours-long screaming tantrum that ultimately resulted in him throwing my MacBook against the wall and shattering it. Honestly, I really thought he was going to hurt me. So yeah, called my dad, who called the cops. I don't want to get into the legality of it, but I'm pressing charges for destruction of property. It was a $2,500 laptop. My dad and godfather moved me out yesterday, so now I'm looking for a new place. I don't have a lot except for clothes and a couple of kitchen appliances. I left the lockbox, but took my snacks with me because F him. I left it locked too. My ex-boyfriend has been spamming me. I'd block him, but I feel like I need this for evidence in case his behavior escalates. I text him the first night that we are done, took our photos down, everything. He began ranting at me. Some gems, raging about how I still didn't get rid of the lockbox, asking for stuff he gifted me back, telling me I owe him money and rent for his new place, that my MacBook was old and worthless and he wouldn't pay for a new one. I bought it last year, brand new. About an hour, I guess, he realized that we were actually broken up and he couldn't bitch me down anymore. Then came the paragraphs about how he was going to marry me, he loves me, he wants to be better for me, that I can keep the gifts and he'll buy me a better MacBook. He freaked out over seeing I took our pictures down from social media. Then he started sending me screenshots of his Google searches of engagement rings and telling me to pick one. He also sent a couple of voice messages of him just sobbing. Any respect I have for him as a person is just completely gone. I want nothing to do with this man. I don't care if he's having a breakdown or on something. He's not my problem. I screenshotted his messages and forwarded them to his mother. She can deal with her son. That's the most I'll ever do for him again. As for me, I'll be okay. I have some savings, so taking on full rent for a place as well as deposit and fees won't be too much. This has been a weird week. I feel like I should be sad, but like I said, I lost all respect and don't feel anything but disdain for him. My parents have been buying me my favorite comfort snacks and being super supportive. They're gently pushing for therapy, and I think it's probably a good idea. I'll start my search once I'm settled in a new place. All right, so that was the end of that one. A flip out over snacks and attempting to have some boundaries around snacks. And like she said, it's not really about the snacks. Sometimes when you tell people no, that's the best way to gauge how they're really going to react if something were to go wrong or not go their way. And I think that that was the snap. She put up a boundary and he didn't like that, so he flipped out. Anyways, like I said, these were just a couple of throwback, and people getting mad about something sometimes is not always about that thing. It's something else, some other underlying issues. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about these two posts. Do you remember them? Have you been on Reddit very long? Let me know. Join the conversation, like, comment, share. And if you made it this far and you're not yet following me, go ahead and follow.